Hey everybody, this is Leslie and I have a website called go2kitchens.com. It's right there in the title of this scope. And today we are going to talk about is the big C caused by the big S? And I am going to talk about stress today. I'm going to talk about how stress affects your life and affects your body and affects every single aspect of every single thing that your human life does. And we're going to talk about that today. This week, we've been talking about 5 easy steps to change your health this week. Hey, hi Roz, welcome. Thanks for the hearts. Gosh, I said like 6 words and I got hearts. And I love that. I love hearts. So the only currency, I'm going to get a little bit of business out of the way just straight away here. And the only currency that Go-To Kitchens accepts is the currency of followers and shares and hearts. I am not selling you a thing today, okay? I'm not selling you a thing. My goal with Go-To Kitchens is to help you find a healthier lifestyle, and I don't do that on the backs of my viewers. Now, at some point, because there'll be an expense to write a book, there'll be a book. And because there'll be an expense to have a seminar, there will be a seminar. Hi, welcome, Marcy. I just saw your scope earlier about your salad, and it was so funny when you left the apples in. Hilarious. I love live scoping. It was great. It was like, I'm sorry that it happened to you, but it was funny. So, oh, good. Yeah, welcome, Lana. I'm glad that you joined us today. I know, but it was perfect, Marcy. Let it roll. It was perfect, and you were so graceful about it, and I loved it. So, way to go. So Go-To Kitchens does not sell a thing. If you go to my website, there's not anything there to buy. The only thing that I want you to buy into is your health. I want you to make an investment in time in your body and learn how you can be healthier and how your body can work for you. So instead of you constantly working for your body. So today we're going to talk about stress. The website is right there in the title of the scope, which is go2kitchens.com. You can find all my social media. Everything is there. You just need to click some buttons to find the other things that you want to find. And I am here every weekday at noon Mountain Time. And tomorrow is For Real Friday. And Marcy, I'm making a salad. And tomorrow I'm going to make a salad for you guys that's going to knock your socks off. Real food, real easy tomorrow on For Real Friday. Yeah, it's going to be super, super yummy. So we're going to make the dressing and everything. But today we're going to talk about stress. So we have talked about hydration. This week, we have talked about exercise, we have talked about sleep, and for me, the 4th component that you need in your life is to not eliminate stress. It's impossible to eliminate stress, but is to control stress. And so today we're going to talk about that, and I am going to reference my notes a lot. So if I'm looking down over this way, it's because I'm looking down at my notes, because I read all the big books so that you guys don't have to, and bring it right here to you. And let me say that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a certified anything. I have been through many wellness classes. I have sat through months and months and months of seminars because I am a cancer survivor, and I've taken the time to educate myself so that I could de-stress about cancer, so that because of my cancer diagnosis, a lot of times when you're a cancer survivor, you get this constant bombardment of, oh, my hand, thank you so much. My hand hurts. Do I have cancer again? I mean, that's the evilness that people don't tell you. Yes, survivor for sure. The people don't tell you about being a cancer survivor or being a cancer patient is that you have this instant, I mean literally almost instant hypochondriasm that comes over you. Is that a word, hypochondriasm? Okay, anyway, you become a hypochondriac and you get this fear that comes over you that every little ache and pain or lump and bump is cancer. And so even the best of us that manage our stress really, really well, and I have to tell you, I'm pretty good at managing my stress. I learned it from my cancer journey. I still get that. I've been battling a virus for about 3 months now in my body that I caught. I actually contracted a virus that's caused like arthritic symptoms in my body. It's called the parvovirus. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome, by the way. And the parvovirus causes arthritic, and they tested me for everything, and finally we put a finger on it like 2 days ago that it was the parvovirus. But my first initial reaction was, oh my God, I have cancer again. It's some kind of cancer, in my liver or whatever. And we were testing liver enzymes and we were doing all this stuff, and it was really scary, but I managed my stress through the whole process. So today I want to talk to you about stress. And here's the definition of stress. Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from an adverse or very demanding circumstance. Holy cow. Here are the synonyms. Now, I bet some of you can relate to this. Here are the synonyms for stress, okay? The synonyms, which means that it's a like word. Strain, pressure, tension, worry, anxiety, trouble, difficulty, and hassle. Now, I bet you at some point every single day in your life, all that in a bag of stress. I bet at some point in your day, every single day, you experience one of these things: strain, pressure, tension, worry, anxiety, trouble, and difficulty, and hassle. Thank you for inviting followers. I appreciate that. So Lana just jumped in, started giving hearts, and started inviting followers. Thank you so very much. I'll tell Christine and give her a big old kiss for sending you. So those are the things that we deal with on a daily basis. They bombard us. There's nothing you can do about it. They're going to come at you. In every light situation, there is always a counterpart to that, which is darkness. And I have a hashtag that I use personally called, and it's hashtag always light, never darkness. And that's because I practice light. I'm a light practicer. And I don't mean that in a fairy berry way. I mean that in a way that I always look for the light. Instead of letting darkness consume me, although I know it exists, I look for the light. Where's the light? Where's my light in this situation? And so in super stressful situations, this happens to me. Now, one of the stories that I like to share about stress is this. And the question I asked at the beginning of this is cancer caused by stress in our lives? And when I was diagnosed with cancer, my oncologist, my medical oncologist, now I had a barrage of people working with me. I combined medical and holistic. Hey, Mark, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, Mark Shaw is in the house. I'm not going to make the funny face like everybody does, but I'm really glad you're here. So, hiya, boom, tag tribes, Mark is in the house. Yes, so my medical oncologist, I used Western medicine, and I used I used holistic practices to actually treat my cancer. So I did a marriage of both. I didn't just go black or white. I went down the colorful middle and said, I'm going to use holistic and I'm going to use medical, and we're going to combine those, and I'm getting through this. This cancer is not getting me. I'm getting the cancer. Yes, best of both worlds for sure. And that's kind of what I teach. So my medical oncologist says to me, she says, Leslie, I would like to ask you, 5 years ago, did you have anything stressful happen in your life? And I instantly broke down in tears. And she said, okay, I'm going to take that as a yes. And she said, what happened? I said, my mom. My mom had a stroke 5 years ago. She had a stroke 5 years ago, and I'm an only child, and I live out of state, and I was responsible for her because my dad works out of state, and he had to continue working to keep their health insurance going so that she could have the treatment that she needed. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here and listening. So I said yes, and it was so stressful. I went through months of being displaced from my home, being with my mom, watching my mom go through this terrible stroke. By the way, my mom is fine. She is an overcomer. She taught me to be an overcomer, and the woman kicked ass and is doing amazingly well. That stroke could have killed her in 2 seconds. So Thank you. Yeah, and we're going to talk about some really important principles. So just getting through my story really quickly. And so she kicked ass and she got over it, but those 3 or 4 months helping her get rid of that and get through that were so stressful. All my gray hair, you see all my gray hair? All my gray hair, my mom cannot blame me for her gray hair. I blame her for my gray hair because I was so stressed. Now I'm 45. I'm supposed to have some gray hair, but I was so stressed, and my oncologist nailed it. She nailed it, and she said, look at chronic stress like that feeds cancer. So if you had any inclination of cancer at any point at that time, then that cancer could have started growing that soon, that long ago, 5 years ago. And she began to tell me the story about her mother dying of cancer. And then 5 years later, my medical oncologist had cancer, very similar to my cancer, breast cancer. Very similar in its traits. It was amazing. And so I began to research and I began to look at the impact of stress and cancer and what chronic stress does to our body. So I want to challenge you. There is good stress and there is bad stress. And the good stress is going to be that flight or fight response. So in human nature, if you hear a loud noise, if something falls on the floor, you instantly turn and you get a shot of cortisol to the brain, right? And that's signaling to you, and that's good, it should do that. That's signaling to you that something may be dangerous and you should go take care of it, or you should find out what it is. And either you should run away or you should put up your dukes, okay? And so that is a good kind of stress. Another good kind of stress would be nervous about the birth of your baby, not knowing what it is, being excited. There's a little bit of stress that comes along there, and that's good stress. Those are good endorphins that you're putting inside of your brain. Being nervous about a job interview, being nervous about scoping. those are actually good stresses in your body. Those give you the level to perform well. Those give you your confidence. Those are good stresses. The types of bad stresses are the ones that are constantly having a negative effect in your life, and those would be the negative emotions in life. So feeling angry, feeling deprived, feeling restless, feeling anxious, all of those things would be negative emotions that cause stress, okay? And those are not good for you, and you need to try to control those. You cannot eliminate them. Don't try to eliminate them. You can't eliminate them. Calamity is going to strike in your life. It is going to happen. I don't care if you're the most positive, most healthy, most beautiful, most everything that you could ever be in your life. Calamity is going to strike. You are going to have it, but it's how you deal with it that makes the difference in the outcome. So managing that stress. So your immune system is directly tied to your stress levels. If you are constantly, right now I'm building a business. I'm building an empire, and Go-To Kitchens is my empire, right? So, and I used to say building an empire is hard. In fact, my friends were saying, we're going to get you a t-shirt that says that. And I was feeling the stress of it. So I flipped it and said, no, I'm going to start saying building an empire rocks. I love building an empire. It's fun and it's easy, and I'm impacting people's lives, and I can't wait to get up the next day and do my work. And it's true. So I've changed those stresses, but the immune system, my immune system, was reacting to the stress that I was feeling trying to build the empire until I flipped my ideas a little bit. And that negative stress, that negative effect lowered my immune system, and probably is what allowed this virus to jump onto me. But when you do that, your body creates a chronic state of inflammatory. When cortisol is released in the brain, right? Not in a like it's supposed to. Like when you wake up in the morning, your brain releases cortisol, or your body releases cortisol to your brain, and that's actually a good thing, because that's that wakey, everybody wake up, it's time to get up. That's a good release of cortisol. But when it's chronic because of stress, and typically cortisol is released in stressful times, then your body creates a chronic inflammatory condition, which is very dangerous for you. Okay, it is is dangerous for your body to be in a chronic inflammation state, because that's where diseases breed. That's where things like heart disease and diabetes and autoimmune diseases and like autoimmune diseases like bad things like RA and fibromyalgia and lupus. I mean, chronic diseases, heart disease, and then, of course, cancer. Cancer loves an inflamed body, and stress causes chronic inflammation in the body. It also lowers your immune system at the same time. So all those colds and flus and seasonal allergies and all of those things, your dry skin, your inability to sleep, your dry eye, your dry mouth, all of that can be caused by stress. So you need to put your finger on it, and you need to put your foot down and get control of it. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. So cortisol in the body for a long period of time will actually your body will create a resistance to it, and it becomes uncontrollable. I'm going to just tell a little story, and my husband tells the story, so I think I feel free enough to tell it here. But after my cancer diagnosis, my husband had some post-traumatic stress syndrome, and he's still dealing with it 2 years, 0.8 months later. He is still dealing with this post-traumatic, because the very thing that he loves in all of the world, he didn't think that I was going to die, but I thought I was going to die, and he took that upon himself, and it was very stressful. And for 2 months after my diagnosis, he held me up, and literally held me up, because I totally reclused and went to this crazy place. And no, it doesn't just disappear. And his counselor says to him, it's a process. It is not an event. It is a process. It doesn't just go away. It's a process that you need to get through so that you can fight this. And he's been so amazing. He just fights and fights and fights and fights and fights and fights. And I'm not going to give in to this. I'm going to beat this state that I'm in. And it's so powerful to watch him do it. And I know it's happening to him for a reason, because I know he has a story to tell people. But it for long periods of time like that cortisol, getting back to the subject, that cortisol actually begins to attack him on a regular basis. That anxiety, that fight or flight, that it just continually bombards him. And now he's learned how to control it. Not the cortisol, because that's a chemical release, but he's learned to control the outcome of it. So that's actually quite powerful for him. Thanks everybody that's popping in. We're talking about stress, and does indeed the big S cause the big C? And so far the answer is yes. So we're down to talking about how, now that we know how stress reacts in our body and what it does to us, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and then I'm going to answer some questions about how to beat stress naturally, because there are a lot of products. First of all, let me say this. I am not shaming anybody. If you are on an antidepressant, if you're on an antidepressant right now, these tips and tricks that I'm going to give you are to help you. They are not to shame you. They are not to make you feel like you are less than because you need that. These tips are here to help you. So I don't want at any point in time for you to think that I feel badly about anybody who is on an antidepressant of any kind. I understand that they are necessary, but I'd like to share some tips with you that maybe as you learn and grow through these tips and tricks, that you might be able to lessen your dose or maybe come off of it completely. So and that's done in a world of things. That's not done with just what I'm going to tell you. That's done in a whole scope of things, like the 5 tips I've been giving all week. But this can help you manage it a little bit easier. This can make you hold it in your hand a little bit easier and identify maybe what's causing in the first place of you needing to take the antidepressant. So I just want to say that first thing right out, that I am not shaming anybody. So if I mention them, this is not a shame fest. This is I'm here to help you fest. So the number one thing that you need to do to combat your stress naturally, and this is gonna hurt when I say this, and I am sorry, but this is gonna hurt, but you need to cut the alcohol. If you're drinking alcoholic drinks, wine, beer, mixed drinks, and that's how you're dealing with your stress, You need to cut it, and you need to cut it now. You need to get rid of it. It needs to be out of your scope of reality. It doesn't need to be in your house. It doesn't need to be anywhere. You can be places where it's at, but you need to resist the temptation to alter your mind and alter your body through alcohol or any stimulant like that. Marijuana, alcohol, anything that you use to change your mind or your mood. You need to, and I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like essential oils or anything. I'm just talking about these types of chemicals. You need to remove them from your life. They need to go away. And here's why. There's a medical reason for it. And the medical reason is anytime that you drink alcohol, number one, it dehydrates your body immediately, almost immediately your body dehydrates. And to compensate for that, your vitamin B levels plummet. Your B vitamins, which are really responsible a lot for your mood, they plummet, and especially B12. They are gone. They are non-existent. And you can supplement to try to replace them, but it is really not a good fix for it. And not only that, it does not help your mood. It does not stabilize your mood. It actually decreases your mind's ability to create endorphins, which are mood stabilizers, and it does just the opposite of what you're trying to escape from. You get a temporary escape, you get a little minimal escape, and then it will come rushing in like a flood. And I'm not talking about in the form of a hangover. I'm talking about days after that happens. It will come rushing in like a flood. And one beer, one glass of wine, anything, any of those things that you're using that you think are relaxing you are harming you. So cut the alcohol. Cut it out. Get rid of it until you figure out a way to de-stress. Once you've figured out a way to get the chronic stress out of your life, you can have a drink. I every once in a while might have a glass of wine or a glass of champagne. I'm not a big drinker, but on occasion, a beer when I go dancing with my husband or something like that. But never to the point where it is like, crazy girl or anything like that. Not anymore anyway. But so that's number one. Stop consuming alcohol. It is not your friend. It is your foe, and you need to avoid it like the plague. Thanks for joining, Rebecca. I'm happy to have you here. I'm always happy to have you here. Number two, this is going to be a hard one as well. None of these steps are easy, but neither is stress. Stress is not easy. Somebody raise your hand and tell me stress is easy, because it is not easy. It is hard, and it's hard on your body. So, number two, wake up 15 minutes earlier than you're used to waking up. Get out of bed. Wake up. Don't wake up and lay there, but wake up and get out of bed and do something that inspires you. What inspires you? You have to work at your wellness, girl. You have to work. You have to work. You have to work. It is not easy. And actually, it can be easy. Once it becomes routine, it's actually easy because you feel so much better. You have so much more energy and things become easier. But getting to that point can be process. It's not an event. It's a process. So wake up 15 minutes earlier. Here's what I like to do. I wake up 15 minutes earlier. I have a little thing that I read every single morning, and it is my go-to kitchens goals, and it is powerful. It's my goals to success. It is my steps that I am taking to success, and it's also my humility marker as well. It's where I find that I say this. I say, remember that you don't know everything about running a business. Leslie, you don't know everything there is to know about running a business. Even if you think you do, you don't. So that's one thing that I do. I also spend time reflecting. So I reflect on my goals. I read something inspirational. Personally, I like Oswald Chambers' My Utmost for His Highest. I read that before bed, and I read it up on Awakening the next morning. So I read that day twice because it's inspirational for me. Maybe that's not your thing, but that's my thing. And so I read that. And then the other thing that you can do is you can journal. So if reading's not your thing, journaling should be your thing. Journaling should be everybody's thing. I have this. It's a great book, right? It's an amazing book. Even if you're not a Christian, even if you're not a believer, it is a great book. It is the most inspirational book on the planet, in my opinion. It was written in the 1930s. It's My Utmost for His Highest, and it is scripture-based, and it is God-based, and it is Jesus-based. Can somebody type that in? My Utmost for His Highest. by Oswald Chambers. Maybe Rebecca, if you're still here, you can do that for me. You're familiar with that book, I know. So I have a journal. My journal is this is actually a new journal for me, but it's my Bible. And I journal in it all the time. I journal my notes. Yeah, you're welcome. I journal my notes. I journal my thoughts. I journal my frustrations. I journal my successes. I journal everything. I journal everything because it's not so that I can keep track of things. It's so that it's released out of my brain and onto paper. And so that, and I can also go back and read my goals, and I can read how far that I've come, and I can see my successes, and I can see my down. Thank you so much. My Utmost for His Highest. That's the name of the book. Thank you, Rebecca. And I journal. So I recommend journaling. I don't journal in the morning, actually. I journal during the day, just throughout the day when the mood hits, when I'm taking a break and I need to release. If I'm feeling stressed, I journal. And so that's a great way. And I will tell you, here's my tip for the day. Oswald Chambers, that's right. My tip for the day is that TJ Maxx. This is a plug for TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx. They have these adorable little lined journals. This is like $5.99, this beautiful journal. And I buy pretty ones because I want them to be pretty and I want to have something pretty to pick up. And so that's just my thing, maybe not your thing. So we talked about stop consuming alcohol and wake up 15 minutes early and do something inspirational for yourself. Have some time for yourself. Number 3, when you are feeling stressed, here's what we do. We hold our breath. We hold our breath. You don't breathe properly when you're stressed. When something stresses you out, have you ever been so angry that you can't breathe? Have you ever had that happen where you're just so ticked off that you can't breathe? And when you try to speak, hardly anything comes out because you're so ticked off? Okay, this happens to me. I will admit I am a light person, but I do get angry because I'm a human being on this planet and there are things that make me mad. But sometimes I get so mad that I can't breathe. I can't get my words out, okay? So what do I need to do at that point? I need to stop and I need to breathe. I have been so scared that I couldn't breathe. And I will tell you, every time I go to have an ultrasound on my boob where my cancer was, I can't breathe. I'm so nervous. My whole body is shaking. I know there's no cancer there, but it's human response and I can't breathe. And the woman has to remind me, Leslie, you need to breathe. Thank you. Thank you. I need to breathe. And so breathing, very important. But here's a little technique that I want to teach you. Breathing like this, taking in a deep breath all the way from your diaphragm, which is down in your gut. So all the way in. And holding it. Here's what that does. It sends oxygen to your brain, okay? You're taking in that big deep breath and it sends oxygen to your brain and then it feeds it. It stimulates it, okay? And it helps your body, then the tension leave. And that exhale, you should feel the tension. You should visually try to see the tension leaving out of your body. So inhale. Hold it. Watch the tension leave. Whatever, if it's negative words, if it's negative feelings, if it's negative emotions, just watch it leave right out of your body because it doesn't belong there. You are a light being. You are naturally light. You were not born dark. You were born naturally light. And so breathe it out and get that darkness out of your body. Tip number 4. This is a big one. Educate yourself about what is stressing you out. And this may be, sorry, my dog. This may be obvious. You may think it's obvious, but maybe it's not. And so to prove to yourself that it's obvious or not, I want you to sit down and I want you to write it out. I want you to take time and I want you to write out what's stressing you. If you are feeling stressed right now, if you are sitting there thinking, oh, I need to go do the dishes, or I need to go do this, or I need to go do that, you need to sit down and you need to write out what your stresses are. And then one by one, you need to set a goal. How do I overcome that stress? Now, some things are going to be things that you can do right away, and that's very fulfilling when you can solve a stress problem right away by writing it down and you see it visually and you go, oh, well, I can check that off the list because I know how to fix that. That is very fulfilling. If you can, if you can't do that, you know, if it's a long-term thing, let's say it's your job. Let's say your job freaking stresses you out, right? And you just cannot figure out how to get out of that job. Write it down. Write down a plan. Start making a plan. Start making an exit strategy out of there. And that may not be for 2 years from now. Maybe it's not that you can't leave that job for 2 years from now. But start making an exit strategy, and immediately, that stress is lifted off of you because you have a plan in place to remove the stress permanently. And then when the stress is gone, it's just gone. So that's tip number 4. And you can use that in all areas of your life. I did that with my cancer. What am I fearing most? What's stressing me out the most about this cancer? And I wrote it all down. And then I began to educate myself about what was making me nervous and scaring me. So I'm sorry for having a connection problem. I see some of you coming in and out, and I'm sorry if there's a connection. You can catch the replay, and you can give hearts there as well, as many as you want, in fact. So that's number 4. Educate yourself about what is stressing you out, and make a goal and make a plan. Write it down. Don't just do it in your mind. Don't just think about it. Do it. Put it on paper. Figure out what's stressing you out and figure out a goal to get rid of that stress. Start making goals. You know, I read somewhere the other day that only 5% of the people in the world write down their goals, and only 1% of the people in the world read them every day. Now, do you think, you know, when we talk about the 1%, when we talk about it in politics, do you think that you could be that powerful 1%? That you could be that 1% of person that reads their goals every single day? Maybe you write them in the front of your journal and you get it out and you read those goals every single day. That gives you power. You are getting power instantly that way. So do that. So visualize it. Visualize it being gone. If it's your kids making bad grades in school, you know, visualize that being gone. If it's your schedule that's driving you crazy because you have so much to do, visualize how you're going to fix that. If it's your husband working too late, you know, visualize how you're going to do that. If it's you working too late, visualize how that stress leaves your body and write it down. Make some goals for yourself. It will change your life. I promise you. I promise you. And if it doesn't, I'll give you your money back. So thank you. Thank you, Lana. I appreciate that. Here's my tip number 5. This is my last tip. I'm almost over my time here. So here's my tip number 5. Pick a hobby. Get a hobby. Doesn't that sound so easy? Oh, I'm just going to go get a hobby. Okay. So pick a hobby. Pick something that you like to do. Don't just wallow around and not having anything to do, because an idle mind is what? The devil's workshop, right? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. And when you can invent, I know, right? That was my joke for the day, and you got it. Thank you, Lana, for getting it. When you are sitting idle, you invent things to be stressed out about. If you're laying in bed and you can't sleep, and you've been laying there for more than 20 minutes, get your butt out of bed and go do something. I don't care if it's in the middle of the night, because what happens is your idle mind laying in there in bed, stressing about not sleeping, okay? Your idle mind is actually causing you stress. You're getting some stress in there, and you want to get rid of that stress. So get up and do something. Journal. Don't turn on the TV, whatever you do. Don't look at your iPad. Don't look at your iPhone. Get a book out. Read something inspirational. Read something really boring, so that, you know, get a medical journal so you can read it and go back to sleep, okay? That's what I do, actually. I have medical journals that I read when I'm sleepy, or when I can't sleep, so that I'll go back to sleep, because they kind of bore me. So, because they're all technical and I don't understand a lot of them. So during the day, I recommend that you pick a hobby. Getting me time, getting you time, getting time just for yourself is so important. Pick something that you like to do. I don't care if it's shopping. I don't care what it is. pick a hobby. Get yourself a hobby, because when you get a hobby and it's that is your thing that you like to do, and you take time. I don't care if you've got 10 kids. I don't care if you got 10 kids under the age of 10. Pick a hobby and do it. Make a plan, set a schedule, get a routine. Hey, on Wednesday nights, this is what I'm going to go do, and you guys all have to fend for yourself. Or on Thursday mornings, I'm going to go hang with my girlfriends at breakfast, and that's what I'm going to do. Or on Friday afternoons after work, I'm not going to be home right away because I'm going to go get a pedicure, or I'm going to go shopping, or I'm going to go kickboxing, or I'm going to go to Zumba, or I'm going to go whatever. I'm taking a cooking class. Whatever those things are, schedule time for yourself, because if you aren't taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. There's not anybody else you can take care of if you can't take care of yourself. If you're running around like a stress cadet all day long, all night long, not getting any sleep, not eating right, screaming at your kids, screaming at your husband, you are not doing them any favors. And I promise you, they will gladly give you that time every single week, as long as they start seeing changes in your life. They will be so happy. Thank you so much. They will be so happy to give you that time, because you know what? It makes mama happy, or it makes daddy happy, or it makes brother happy, whatever that is. And you need to encourage your entire family to have these principles. These are not just your principles. They're not just set out there for you. They are set out for everybody that you know. And as you begin to share your principles and your ideas with other people, and this is what's happened to me. It caught fire. Literally, it caught fire in me, and I was like, I got to tell people about this stuff. This stuff is powerful. This stuff that I learned is powerful, and I need to tell people about it. And so Scope came along. I started my website. I did all that. I started my Facebook page. I have 3,300 followers in like 4 months. I started my Facebook page. I started my website and everything, but I was still lacking that one thing, and Periscope popped in my radar, and I was like, oh, I can share my message, and it's going to be fun, and I can do it in a light way, and we can have fun with it. So, and I can help people get through this crap in their life. And so there you go. Here's the steps. Stop drinking alcohol. Number 1. I know that's a hard one for a lot of people, because our culture is surrounded with alcohol and stimulants like that. But number 1, stop drinking alcohol. Number 2, wake up 15 minutes early and have some time to reflect, to talk about your goals to yourself, to journal, to read something inspirational. I talked about that. I like the book My Utmost for His Highest. It's a religious, or not religious, it's a God-oriented book. And I like it, but even if you're not a believer, it's a great book. I mean, even if you just scratched out all the God and Jesus and all the Bible verses in it, there is still so much light in that book that you're going to love it. So My Utmost for His Highest, I read it twice a day. My dad gave it to me when I was diagnosed with cancer. He brought it to me and said, you need to read this. And I started reading it. I was aware of it. He said, you need to read this every single day, Leslie. And I started reading it, and it changed my life. So anyway, My Utmost for His Highest. And then number 3, you need to learn to breathe. Breathing in, holding it, exhaling it out, letting the oxygen transfer to your brain. That will help calm you down immediately. That is an immediate calmer down. If you feel the stress rising, if you can kind of feel it in your throat. When you feel it in through your nose, hold it. That's the key, is holding it and exhaling through your mouth and visualizing that evil darkness leaving out of your body and out of your mind. Number 4, educate yourself about your stresses and confront it head on. Write it on paper. Visualize it being gone out of your life. Set goals to make it leave your life. That's number 4. And number 5, pick a hobby and do it. Pick some me time. Get some me time in there. Your family will thank you. At first, you may have a little resistance, but mom, but dad, but brother, but sister, but friend. That's okay. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming in. You're catching me at the tail end here. But those are my 5 tips for beating stress. And just know that cancer and stress do go hand in hand. And if you are experiencing chronic stress, I'm not saying you're going to get cancer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that your immune system is being bombarded, and that you need to figure out a way to get that stress out of your life. So having said all of that, I'm wound up again today. Can you tell? I'm just wound up. I did a live radio interview last night. Oh, thank you so much. Tomorrow's my birthday. Thank you so much. That is so sweet for you to remember that. I did a live radio interview last night and I was on like Donkey Kong. I mean, this radio interviewer was like, "How many times have you done this?" I was like, "That was my first one." He was astonished. He wants me to do a show with him. It was so much fun. We had so much fun. So I was on again last night. I'm pumped up about these subjects. So my name is Leslie. I am in the Tag Tribes. For those of you that are Tag Tribers, you can see me in that. I make a lot of comments. My name is Leslie Nance. You can find me on all social media by going to go2kitchens.com. It's in the title of this scope. It's go2kitchens.com. There's all kinds of links and stuff. I don't even know what they call them anymore, but you can find me on all social media that way. If you want to find me personally, and I invite you to do that, my name is Leslie Nance, Nance. You can find me on Facebook. That's primarily where I talk to people. And if you become a VIP, you get all this sneak peek information. You get replays of scopes. You get all kinds of good stuff. Thanks for the hearts. That's amazing. You guys are hearting it up today, and I love it. So please find me. Find me. I am available. I am an open book. You can ask me any question. I do live talks. I do all kinds of stuff, and I don't sell a thing. Sometimes I have to sell myself. Not that way. I have to sell, I have to recoup my expenses when I do live talks. But other than that, I don't make any money any other way. I don't even have any sponsors at this point except for a cookware company that has given me some free products. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This has been Lunch with Leslie. Thank you so much. Thank you, Roz. That's so sweet. You're precious. I just love you to death. I love your scopes. They're amazing. If you guys aren't following Roz, you need to follow her. She's just an amazing woman. So having said all of that, if you're watching the replay, thank you for doing that. Thanks for all the hearts. If you're my Facebook follower, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for helping me grow the Go-To Nation and spread the message of light in the world. I feel like, thank you. I'm glad you learned something. Thank you. Oh my God. Do you guys have any questions? Can I answer any questions for you? My scope is like 9 minutes longer than it's supposed to be today, but I'm here, so we might as well talk. Anybody have any questions I can help you with about managing stress or anything else? Or do you want to talk about the weather or anything? I'm happy to do that. If not, that's fine too. So thank you for the hearts. Thank you for watching. And I am here every weekday at noon for Lunch with Leslie. That's Mountain Time, noon here on Periscope, live to you. And tomorrow is For Real Friday, and I'm making a salad. And girls, I'm telling you, you want to come eat this salad. You need to learn to make this salad, because you are going to have a brunch one day and you're going to serve this salad and they're going to think that you are the queen of the kitchen. So, and it's so easy. So come watch me tomorrow at noon Mountain Time, and we're going to make a salad, and we're going to talk about real food. Meditation is amazing. You know, meditation means, Roz asked, someone suggested meditation, but I don't have time. Yeah, because you're too busy. So here's that is principle number 4, actually, Roz, is to make time for, no, principle number 5, to make time for yourself. Take time. You have to take time for yourself. You have to stop everything and look in the mirror and say, I am fabulous and I need some time. And you need to go get a pedicure, or you need to go shopping, or you need to go to the gun range. I don't know, whatever it is that you do, meditate, whatever it is that you do, you need to go do it, because that's you time, and it's so important. And you cannot, I just said, you cannot serve anybody else until you have served yourself. So it's very important. Meditation, there are some great people that lead meditations. Max Ryan leads meditations right here on Scope. And I haven't watched a whole lot of them, but I think that they're even faith-based. And I think that I've seen one of his meditations, and I thought that it was pretty amazing. So Max Ryan, if you know him, I would suggest him for meditation and learning how to meditate. So, and if you got time on Scope, you got time to meditate, or do yoga, or go to the gun range, or go shopping, or do whatever it is that you like to do. Go bike riding, go hiking, whatever it is. So make time, carve it out, make it a routine. You brush your teeth every single day to take care of yourself. So you should make time for yourself every single day to take care of yourself. Anybody else have any questions? Now I am 12 minutes over my scope. This is a long one. I'll check it out. Yes, ma'am. All right. All right, so love you guys from the bottom of my heart. When I say that, that is not just to be coy or cute or sweet or anything like that. I do love my audience. You guys make me smile. You make me get out of bed every single day because I want to come talk to you. So thank you so, so much for being here and taking time out of your day to learn about stress. If you missed the scope, it was about stress and cancer, and you should go back and watch the replay, especially like the first 25 minutes, because that's when I was actually talking about stress. So. All right. Thanks so much. You guys have a good day, and I'm sure I'll see you again at some point because I always have something else I need to say during the day, apparently. So, all right. Love you. Have an amazing light-filled day. Fill your day with light. Don't look for the darkness. Always look for the light. All right. Bye.